This is going to be a quick demo of using Cornell's Apps on Demand to use QGIS in a remote desktop environment. So the link on the screen right here is a link to the Canvas course that has been set up for accessing the software. And if you go to that, you'll end up here. I'm already enrolled, but if you're not, there may be an enroll button. I'm going to go to the course. Anyone at Cornell can sign up for this so-called course. And don't be confused by the list of software they have down below. That's just for your information if you want to install those on your own computer. What we really want to do is go to Apps on Demand, and I'll click that, and this launches a new browser tab for Amazon AppStream, which is the service being used to provide access to the software. I'm going to go ahead and click on QGIS, and once I do that, it starts building a virtual server in Amazon's cloud. This usually takes around 2 minutes to run. So it's setting up a temporary server, and you will be working on that, which is why it's going to be important to always save your data to Google Drive, which I'll show you how to do. Stuff on your Google Drive will stay there. It will be available for your next session. But if you save things on the local virtual computer, all that disappears when the server gets shut down, and you come back into a new session. It's going to be a new virtual server. So always save your data to Google Drive. Okay, so it looks like it's connecting, and we should see the splash screen for QGIS popping up here. So let's get started. The desktop environment here is a bit different than either a Mac or Windows, something custom that Amazon has built. And they have this toolbar up at the top. The first icon can be used to run other software, so if you need to download data from Google Chrome or from the internet, you can use Google Chrome to do that. Very first thing you should do when you log in would be to open up the Google Drive file stream. And so what this does is this will connect to a Google Drive that's affiliated with your Cornell net ID. So I'm going to put in my Cornell email address, even though I have another Google account. And this should just be your net ID password. And you may have some two-factor authentication you need to do. And once you're in, it will show you some information about that. We can just close that up. Basically what has happened here is that, oh, here it is. It pops up, and we are on a G drive. So if I go up to this PC, don't save things into these local temporary files or downloads folders. Anything you want to keep needs to be saved into this Google Drive file stream, G drive. I think you should probably put it within my drive. I'm not quite sure. I have some test data here, and we can work with this. So let's suppose I want to open up this test geo package. I can just drag that over into my QGIS back behind here. I may want to maximize that. So if I really want to maximize, I'll switch over to full screen with this icon here. Enter full screen mode. I can always hit escape to get out of that. Also, if I want to switch back over to my files, if I hover over this button at the top, I get my full control, and the second button here, whoops, I'm too slow. The second button will let you pick which window you want to switch over to. So now I'm in, and this is a little hard to see because they don't have a border on it, but this is my file browser, so I could do other things there. But back in QGIS, when you make changes to anything in here, so if I were to say, I just want to edit, and let's just remove these buildings, and if I save that, so any changes that you make to your data set is immediately written to Google Drive for safekeeping. One other thing is that if I wanted to maybe make a subset of this and take these buildings and save them to a new file, first of all, it's always important when you're using QGIS, when you provide a file name of where to save, don't just type something in here. It actually wants the full path. So if you just type in a file name here, who knows what folder it's going to put it in. So always click on the ... to browse. And rather than saving to the default location here, unfortunately, is Photon user, which is the name of the user in this virtual server, make sure that you go to this PC and save to your Google file stream. Otherwise, that data will not be available next time you open up a session. So I'll just call this test 3, and I will save right there. Okay, so it's written that out. I'm going to just take a look at that file just to point out that it has a timestamp of 4:42. If I look at my local clock, so maybe I'll exit full screen for a second, it's actually 12:42. So you can see that the times in the Google Drive are 4 hours ahead of my local time here in New York State. So just be aware of that. So anything you save in here will be available next time around. So if I need to download data from the web to use in QGIS, I would want to save it into my G drive, my drive. I should also mention that if you save a project file, you would want to save that also into your G drive. If you save it locally, it's going to not be there the next time you come in. So make sure you save it into the G drive and follow whatever recommendations you've been given on where to save these. I'll just save it right there. And now it should be good. Now you can close up QGIS when you're done. Doesn't really matter if you close all your windows or not, because when you're completely finished with AppStream, what you want to do is click over here and end the session. So when I do that, it's going to shut down the server. So any of the local files or temporary files will no longer be available. Everything that was saved to my Google Drive will still be there. And ending the session is the proper way to do this. That eventually will time out, but if you end it when you're done, that saves Cornell a little bit of money paying rent to Amazon for that service.